Hello, pproteus here, back for another Lost Caverns of Ixalan draft. Today we're going to be first picking up Poetic Ingenuity. You've seen this one before. It is a build around. You gotta cast artifact spells, and when you do, you can get a 3/1 every turn for only 3 mana. That sounds pretty excellent. And if you have some dinosaurs, you can get some treasure tokens too. What are we passing in this pack? There's like a gold card, Ceratops is okay, there's a removal card, there's another red card. Basically, if either of these red cards wheel, we're going to be ecstatic, which means, they're probably not going to wheel. But we also, as usual, do not have to marry the first pick. This second pick here, I think, is pretty easily Kinjali's Dawn Runner. This card is pretty excellent. 3 mana, 1/1 double strike, maybe draw a card, or maybe get a counter to scry one. Besides that, there is this dual land as the rare. This card's also really attractive. It is not so hard to kind of splash one of these, basically have the ability to activate it, and this one's really good because it's got evasion, which, combos really well with the attack trigger. But I think we're going to take the Dawn Runner because it's only one color, it doesn't require any effort to play, and you just play it on turn 3 and it does its job. But I do really like the land. There's some decent, playable red cards here. Don't want to discount those either. I'd probably be pretty happy to pick up a Militia after the Ingenuity, but this was fine too. Third pick, I feel like this pack is pretty poor. There is a Join the Dead, which is definitely playable, but it's double black, and that is not really what these cards want to be. There is a cave, and then I guess the only card I really want is Tinker's Tote. I'm not really buying this card. I feel like people are overvaluing it, but it also just seems like clearly the best card other than Mirror for us. Pick 4, we're going to slam this Hidden Courtyard. I've probably beaten this to death by now, but I love these lands. You just get to spend 1 mana for a tap land instead of plains, but as a bonus, you get to just draw a card and cast it for free when you get up to 6 mana, and that's pretty great. So I'm going to take that. We're passing a Sandwing, maybe an Iceberg. Red does not seem too open, but it's kind of too early to tell what's open. In this pack, I think I'm just going to take another Tinker's Tote. I think it synergizes pretty well with it. It's very directional, I'll say that. It hits the artifact synergies, and all I want to do is build a synergistic deck. Maybe blue will end up being open, and we'll draft blue-white, or maybe blue-white splash this card. And also, if we end up in a sacrifice deck, then this is lots of things to sacrifice. Pick 6, I see another one. We're just going to do it again. I don't really see any reason to stop. I do see other good white cards in this pack, and white definitely seems like the place to be, although this pack seems fairly strong overall. Pirates, and there's a land here. Would be happy with both of those. There's a Rock Slide, love that. I think I'm going to take Tote. And then there's the Pup, the Gem Guard, the Sunscribe. Those are all pretty good things. So what I'm looking for now that I've got this Ingenuity is I'm going to be looking for, not the Ingenuity, the 3 Totes, is I'm going to be looking for as many artifact synergies as possible. Which Ingenuity is one, but also a lot of them are going to be blue, so we might be drawn into blue. Just a warning. Here we're going to take Adapted Gem Guard, because that is actually quite good with the Tinker's Tote. You get to play this on turn 4 after playing this on 3, and you immediately put 2 counters on it, and you got a 5/5. In this pack here, I'm seeing not much I would like. This Mephitic Draft here is, it's an artifact, but it doesn't really synergize very well with all these things. Don't really want to be playing this deck. This is I'm looking for things that care about artifact payoffs, not more artifacts, basically. We're going to take River Herald Scout because this is the most open card, and we very likely will end up in blue simply because we're looking for artifact synergies, and blue has the most of those. Next pick, this is on the wheel, so we've seen these cards before. There's Waterlogged Hulk, which I'm not really in love with as a card. It's a little bit slow. And then there's a whole bunch of black cards, so maybe we should just be in black. So I think I'll just take this, take the Skullcap Snail. We don't really need to be in it, but if we end up in the black-white sacrifice deck, that sounds totally fine. We got the Sandwing back. I mentioned this when we came around the first time. Pretty decent. In this pack here, we're going to take this Cave. I don't really love any of these cards. Ray to Ruin is it's fine, but it's just so expensive. This format, there's a lot of powerful cards that are cheap. You don't really need 5 mana removal spells. That's just a bit much. Rumbling Rock Slide is a whole lot better than that card. And in this pack, we're going to take this black card, and this is kind of a hint that maybe black's open, and we should be doing that. These blue cards are pretty medium, I think. But now I've changed my mind because this Hidden Cataract is like second to last. That's not something that's supposed to happen. So we're going to take that, and I guess blue is open. Maybe black is open too. Maybe they're both open. Nope, here's the Pirates. We just got an artifact card, second to last. Guess nobody is drafting the artifact deck. And that is excellent for us. In the next pack, this one's a doozy. We got to choose between a second honor. Then there's a lodestone needle, which is, an artifact synergies. And then there's good old petrify. And I think this is really close. Wouldn't fault you for wanting any of those. I am going to take a risk and take the blue card because I said I really just want artifact synergies. And crafting with the Tinker's Tote from the graveyard is exactly the kind of artifact synergy I'm looking for. Restless Reef is a fun one for sure. But I don't know. It doesn't have evasion. It's a little bit more expensive than the blue-white one. You can buy Piranha's very good removal spell, quite like that one. It's another land, of course. I think we're going to be taking the Cloud Guard. This is just the best common white creature. And assuming we're trying to be in white, which, I think we're pretty confident about that, we really need to cut these to stop people from deciding they want to go into this lane, especially after just passing the arrest. Next pack, there's another one of these Cloud Guards, but we're actually here going to take the Spring-Loaded Saw Blades. There's another Craft with Artifact card. Slamming that, it's also a pretty good removal spell. Just 2 mana kill an attacker, later turns into a vehicle. It only kills tapped creatures, but that can be a bonus because you can also just play it on your turn. Next pack, we're going to be super happy to pick up a Spyglass Siren. It isn't quite an artifact synergy, but it is a 1-drop that comes with an artifact, and such a good rate. Slamming that, very happy. And I think I'm safe to say now we're just going to be playing blue. Waterwind Scout, probably the best common creature in the set. Makes an artifact token for all the artifact matters things that we have and are hoping to pick up soon. Cogwork Wrestler, that's a fun one. It's an artifact. It basically encourages you to do the little tempo thing, which Waylaying Pirates also does. And I think that makes it the take. There's also Merfolk Cave Diver, which as far as 3 mana 2/4 go is pretty good, but it's not going to trigger very much, so it's mostly just a 2/4, and that's not really good enough. Here there's a land that's jumping out at me, but I think we're going to take Brackish Plunder. It's just a bounce spell. Can make an artifact, that's fine. Next, I'm going to be taking Staunch Crewmate. It is potentially a 2 mana 2/1. It doesn't always hit, but it's also just a Goblin Piker, so, you're not going to be too depressed if it misses. And it hits any artifact, and we do have quite a few artifacts in here, and artifacts are cards we want to play. I'm going to pick up another Pirates here that seems pretty good. Passing Quicksand Whirlpool, which is kind of a semi-awkward removal spell. There's a couple decent red cards here. If I were in red solidly, I'd be pretty happy about that. Still looking for a way to splash this Ingenuity. I think we're ready to give up on the black cards entirely. Here we're just going to slam another Courtyard, I think. I'm just going to take as many of these as I can get. And these cards are not good. These are some good black cards. We're not going to play that. Don't really mind a Centaur Courser, but man, Centaur Courser has fallen so far. It doesn't really synergize with anything. We still might play it. It's kind of okay, but we're not going to be short on playables. Ooh, pack 3, we have opened Magmatic Galleon. A lovely rare. Cares about artifacts. Well, not cares, but it's an artifact that makes more artifacts. But it is double red, and we probably can't splash that very easily at all. It's pretty sad, because I do want to be doing that. I just can't. Don't really have any fixing. There's a lot more fixing in red than in other colors, because the red cards make treasures, for example, like this guy. So it would be easier to play this in a red deck and then use this that makes treasures and splash something else, but I just don't think we can do it. Sad. Disappointing. I'm going to take an Aspirant. Just 2 mana 2/3. It's fine. Another Saw Blades. Give me that. Would not hate Miner's Guidewing. This card is pretty excellent, I think. Then there's another Wrestler, another Whirlpool. We're a little bit short in removal, but not that short. We'll be fine. Here, I'm very happy to pick up a Dusk Rose Reliquary. This is the exact kind of card that a Tinker's Tote is really good with, because It's a Bone Splinters, but you can sacrifice an artifact instead of a creature. But if you just have Tinker's Tote, then this is just like an artifact that sits around and is waiting for you to sacrifice it. And here we go. Here's the sacrifice outlet. Very happy about that. Just as I was saying, we are hoping for more removal as well. In this pack, we can now take a 4th Tinker's Tote, or we can take a Miner's Guidewing. Is the Guidewing better? There's also a Minecart, which is not bad. It's not bad because it makes treasure token, and that'll probably help splash this Ingenuity, which I am hoping to splash. I think the Minecart is just a little bit weaker than these cards by themselves. I think I'm going to take that Tinker's Tote. Just try to lean even harder into these synergies. Maybe get some more like gem guards. Inverted Iceberg and Plundering Pirate is like, it's always catching my eye. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to splash, there's a treasure card, and I'm forgetting that it doesn't actually help. Yeah, Iceberg's really good. I'm going to take this Iceberg. It's 2-drop. It cares about artifacts, cycles, but it's also a 6-drop. It's an excellent card. We're going to take here a Sunscribe, just a 2-drop that is an artifact. Here we are going to take Glorifier of Suffering over Second Wrestler, and this is because of the sacrifice things. We're going to play this Tinker's Tote. We're going to sack the Tote itself to the Glorifier, and we get basically 5/4 stats for 3 mana. That makes up for the Tinker's Tote going down on mana. This Centaur Courser, sorry, you're not happening. In this pack, we can take Ruin Lurker Bat, which is, I think, a pretty neat card. Just a Healer's Hawk, but also lets you scry randomly, and yeah, we have ways to descend. For example, sacrificing all these Tinker's Totes, and also just trading because we got like relatively aggressive cards. In this pack, there is that Waterlogged Hulk, which is at least a little bit tempting, but it's just so slow, even though it's an artifact, and it's craft with Island, not craft with artifact. I think we're going to take Promising Vein, and we're going to play 1 mountain and use that to splash this Ingenuity. And in here, we can pick up a second Wrestler. I'm not sure if we're going to play it. We definitely have to cut some things. Not sure exactly which cards to cut. It's going to be a tough build. Tough because we have great cards. You know, tough in a good way. Sage of Day is not terrible, but it's really like a Descend payoff. It doesn't really fit this deck. Okay, here's the deck half built. I've narrowed it down to the card we're really sure we're going to play, the top-notch best cards, and then the artifact and the artifact synergy cards. And then I have 3 more choices. And what are the options here? Well, there's some 2-drops. We've got one that's an artifact, 2 mana 2/3. This other 2 mana 2/3. This one's probably better. The Brax Blunder, which is a bounce spell. We got the Cogwork Wrestlers, and we could just play a 6-drop. It's nice to have like one thing at the top end. And so I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 reasonable choices and 3 slots. So I've got to make a choice. And, well, I guess I'm choosing kind of arbitrarily, but I'm going to choose the Sunscribe and a Wrestler, try to maximize, make sure I'm getting cheap things while maximizing artifact count, and then I'll take Blunder because I'm worried maybe this is not enough interaction. And that's up to 40, may revisit those last few slots. Sandwing, I think is not super necessary. I wish I had a little bit more evasion in this deck, but this deck actually really doesn't need a 6-drop because it's got so many mana sinks. Deceptive with, you know, the craft and artifact on the other side, and all this explore. Well, we'll be fine in the late game, pretty sure. Alright, ready for game number 1. Going second, got 2 tap lands and a Promising Vein, which is not ideal, but we can also afford to take it slowly because, you know, our curve is really so low that it doesn't matter all that much. We're going to have to go Siren on 2 and then 3 into 3. Plus got a Shipwreck Sentry. I know we passed one of those in the draft, and I think I forgot to mention it, to be perfectly honest. It's definitely a good card. What you want is a high artifact count, kind of like what we have here. Problem is, this deck here, we really just don't need more artifacts. We don't really need more 2-drops either. We'll be fine, I think, with some of these, like... We'll be fine with the ones we got, right? We have some really good 2-drops sitting in the sideboard. I think that's a better way to put it. And that's why I didn't really acknowledge the Sentry. Also, we didn't get any of these open Sirens. That's the card you really want in this deck, and we just didn't see it. It wasn't around. So we could spring this on them right here, but it's probably more mana efficient if we play a 3-drop this turn and then next turn play another 3-drop into Explore. So let's start with 3-drop. We're going to go Dawn Runner. Oh, also we could go 2+2 next turn. I'm going to play the Dawn Runner. This actually seems very okay because we can sacrifice like a map token to put a counter on the Siren, or I guess probably also we can put the counter on the Double Striker. That's probably pretty good. Definitely keeping that one around. We may not play it next turn because actually it'd be kind of nice to sack the Tinker's Tote that's in our hand we just haven't played yet. So maybe we can do like sack the map plus Tinker's Tote on this coming turn. Depends, of course, on what happens on the other side of the board. Also kind of sad now that we didn't put the River Herald Scout in the deck because it's such a great card. Would have been bent over myself with joy if I had to play this card 10 years ago. But now it's like, you know, it's fine. Whatever. It's Blue's idea of a good 2-drop. But it's passing. What does this mean? There's definitely some like tricks and things they could have, but I'm not sure what I would expect them to have. So they didn't attack the Sentry because they didn't play an artifact. We are going to use this map here. Yeah, opponent's got something, but I'm not sure what I should be playing around. So I think I'm just going to play card and pass the turn and don't worry too much. The card they have might be the Bounce Spell, which isn't really a blowout, but it also makes me not want to invest my things. Because if I have to like sacrifice something, the Glory of Suffering, to get a counter, and then they bounce the thing, you know, that's a way for them to get value. It's also notable we've drawn this Ingenuity after playing one artifact. We don't have red yet, but we got this Promising Vein. We can go find the red. So probably that means that next turn we can go. I'm just gonna take this damage too. This is fine. Next turn we can go play the land. We can activate the Promising Vein and play like Glorifier. We could also just play the Saw Blades and eat the Sentry, but I'd rather have the Saw Blades save for a Dinosaur. Also important to note, Saw Blades deals 5 damage, so it does not kill the Iceberg Titan. But it's got Clay-Fired Bricks. That is making me think that the card the opponent is holding up is actually this card right here. I'll consider that. So I want to play this Glorifier. I want to leave up the Wrestler. So we're going to tap like this. Glorifier. So this has the nice interaction that it blocks the Sentry while also doing its thing over here. Now we're going to combat attack for 8. You know, this isn't something the opponent can ignore. In fact, the Dawn Runner just trades for the opponent's thing by itself. Are you going to try to like triple block? I guess maybe they have a second Wrestler. Oh, they do have a second Wrestler. Dang. Yeah, I'm going to try to click really fast here to make them think that I don't have exactly another Wrestler. Because what they might do is they might like triple block now, and I'm actually going to get to kill one of these things. I'm going to play my Wrestler. And I guess I'm missing out on like a Dinosaur eventually, but I get to save my 3/3 Double Striker, and that sounds very important. Because the 3/3 Double Striker, they're going to have this 6/6, and I definitely want to be able to trade for that. It is probably going to be a little bit of an issue. Like, I can't really hold this back to block it because this can tap my thing. I don't really have the removal for it. But I also have so many, like, dinky creatures that I can just kind of chump it for a while and it'll probably be fine. Meanwhile, I can attack with this. Ooh, that was a really good try. Okay, so I think I want to just play this Relic card right now, or do I want to wait a turn? I think what I want to do is I want to attack with this guy first. I think if the opponent wants to trade this for the Titan, I'm okay with that. I think they're probably just going to either chump it or just take the 6. I'm okay with either of those outcomes. Yep, the opponent chose the chump option. I just wanted to minimize their knowledge while they were making that decision. Here I'm going to cast this Crewmate. Try to take a look for something. We're hitting a Gem Guard, which we can't cast this turn. Alright, I've decided we're going to sacrifice a token and kill this Titan. I guess we also could have considered hitting that kiln there. That's going to be really annoying. That is going to be really annoying if they can probably flip that right now. Maybe I should have done that. The problem is that we're just so far from killing them. I'm probably going to have to grind through all their stuff, and I just don't have removal for the 6/6. But yeah, this is going to be pretty problematic, because now their Siren is bigger than my Siren, I think I get good trades on the ground, though. Like, they're going to attack with their shipwreck sentry. I'm just going to block it. I'm just going to block it. I guess I tapped wrong. I would have been able to saw blades it, but I do really want to do this. So we get to play the Ingenuity. How do we want to do this with the Dawn Runner? I think I just have to play the Ingenuity first. Go to combat. Dawn Runner is actually going to hit in, because I want to make them attack with their things on the ground. Maybe this is bad, but they also might suspect a trick, because they definitely suspected one last turn. And yeah, that's how I thought this was going to happen. They're just kind of letting me do that. I think I'm okay with that particular outcome. Moving on, let's see if the opponent is brave enough to come and get me with these tokens. There is some amount of bravery. Alright, so I think we have to just saw blades. And that's because I'm pretty happy to get the dinosaur token. I really want to get these things out onto the board. So we get to kill that, take a good trade. I think I just take a trade here. My 2/2 flyers not doing much versus their 2/3 vigilance flyer. And hope they're out of gas. That's a good card. Gem Guard's a good card. That's really frustrating. If I knew they were going to play Gem Guard, I would have saved the Saw Blade to Pirates. Pirates is definitely not a bad draw. I'm just playing this here. Now we get to tap that Gem Guard. That's not going to untap. To swing in with everybody, because none of these guys can block. We get to make a treasure. Uh-oh. Somebody's getting dropped. Okay. That was much less good, now that I'm dealing 6 less damage. But on the plus side, that was as bad as it gets, because that was their last card in hand, and we're drawing the Dawn Runner again, I guess. Opponent... That's kind of funny. They do their Discover 6 mana, and they get their 1-drop, but their 1-drop is actually really good here. Because it's 2/2 flying lifelink, and I can't interact with flyers. Dang. Okay. Now what? So I can craft this for sure, make it 5/5. But I can't do everything, which is really annoying. I get to do 2 things maybe. I kind of want to gain life here, in case they find some way of dealing like 1 extra damage. I think let's just start by going to combat and seeing what happens. To make a treasure. Treasures are nice. I think I'm gonna go Dawn Runner into Tote. If I hit a land, I will consider Gem Guard. So we got Lodestone Needle. Lodestone Needle is really good because that actually interacts with flyers. Yeah, so then Tote happens here. Make a dinosaur. We are notably not dead. Opponent needs to be pretty careful as well, because they're gonna go to 6 here. 2 blockers. They block the 2 biggest things, and they take well more than lethal. No, that's really bad. That's pretty bad. Don't like that. When I use this Tote, I'm going to go to 4, and I have to prevent this 4 damage. That means that this Needle can't tap the Gem Guard. The Needle needs to tap one of their flyers. Needle needs to tap one of their flyers. So where does that leave me? I also quite want to attack, but attacking means I need to throw something into the maw of this Gem Guard. I don't really mind that. Alright, I guess I'm going to attack with these 4 things. I don't want to get chumped by their 2/2, but I'm okay getting chumped. Like, I'm okay if they chump the Dawn Runner, basically. Okay, I like trades. Please trade. Please trade. Yep, I like all of this. So we're going to need 7 mana to do Gem Guard plus Needle plus Sack Tote, and we have 5 lands plus 3 treasures. So we're going to be okay with that. I guess I could craft this Saw Blade instead of the Gem Guard, but the Gem Guard is just bigger, so I think I'd rather Gem Guard. Here he comes. Here's the Gem Guard. Gem Guard comes with a dinosaur. Also, we get to Needle on the opponent's turn, make a dinosaur over there. The Gem Guard here, so we need 1, 2, 3, so we can start tapping things. I don't really want to tap potential blockers, but I can definitely tap like multiple things, right? As long as I leave 3 mana open, I'm good. guess realistically I can tap blockers because I only need one chump blocker. Okay, let's tap one blocker. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. So pass the turn. I'll stop in the opponent's upkeep in case they somehow... No, actually I don't want to do that because they might play a main... I was thinking in case they draw a counter spell, but actually they might. And are probably more likely to get a main phase buff spell than they are to get a counter spell, since maps are main phase buff spells. Alright, so get to play the needle here. Make another dinosaur. I'm gonna tap, I think just tap the Vigilance guy. Because this guy can attack and block, which is scarier than the bat attacking and then not being able to block. I think that's my evaluation of this. Boy, this is tough for a match 1. This is a fancy game. Okay, so that happened. We get to sack the Tote. Gain 3 life, go up to 2. And do we have lethal here? So opponent blocks these 2 and takes lethal attack. Phew, game is over. That was really, really close. Alright, I'm starting to understand why people like Tinker's Tote. Now I understand. It makes a lot more sense. Well, probably not going to beat that first game in terms of excitement, but, well, we got to carry on. Keep this hand, and it's an interesting decision where I have to decide, should I go turn 1 tap land, turn 2 island, bat, siren, or turn 1 island, siren, turn 2 explore, play the tap land. And I think there's pretty decent arguments for both ways. This cave is going to let me cast the Ingenuity as soon as I get to the 4th mana. Don't have any artifacts other than the Saw Blades, which is pretty far away from being cast. I think I'm tempted to do it this way, because this way I think I'm going to do it this way because I don't know what I'm going to do on turn 3. And so that is potentially helped at least a tiny, tiny bit by the Surveil here. So let's try it. Start exploring. I guess maybe it would be better to explore onto the bat, but at this point now it doesn't matter. Partly because we've not gotten the counter, so it didn't matter where the counter was potentially going. But also because we drew untapped plains, so actually that worked out pretty excellent. If I had played the plains, then if I had played the Saw Blades, then I wouldn't have been able to use that untapped source right on time. So that turned out pretty good, I think. We're not going to be able to cast any spells here, so I'm just going to go Courtyard, poke the opponent, and pass. And then next turn, the next 2 turns are going to be Ingenuity, Gem Guard. Not sure what order, it probably depends on what the opponent does. So obviously, playing the Ingenuity first gives me extra dinosaur, but if I play the Gem Guard first, the Gem Guard could probably attack the opponent, and maybe that's just better. Nah, I want the dinosaur. I would like the dinosaur. This isn't a dinosaur, right? I didn't just miss the treasure. Don't think so. Also, we have the Courtyard, which is super nice because we are starting to get flooded here. We're up to 6 lands. Really don't need any more. Hope the opponent has a bunch of removal spells over there that they just can't do anything with. That'll be very funny. They just don't want to kill the 1/1s. Of course, it means this Gem Guard's going to die. I think that's what's going on, but removal spell is not good against these 1-mana 1/1s. Also not good against 3 dinosaurs. Opponent is going to be added to the list of iceberg opponents. Yeah, okay. Let's just Gem Guard. Make a dinosaur. I think I'm just going to activate the Gem Guard in the main phase. I don't really care about blocking the 2/1 super much. And something's getting needled. Okay, that's annoying. But they hit my 1/1 instead of my 4/4, so I'm happy with that. Also funny that they didn't needle in response. Like, they could have waited to see if I was going to tap the bat to the Gem Guard, because I could have just done that. Or, wait, no, I guess they did wait to see if I'd do that. Gem Guard got petrified. Alright, I was right about the removal. Opponent is pretty soon going to make a Iceberg 6/6. And I guess this scenario makes sense with the fear of the iceberg, because I'm not sure what I'm going to do anymore. Well, I'm probably going to do that. I can use the cave to put counters on something, but the ideal target for the cave is the bat. And The bat can't attack, so I'd rather use the courtyard here. So let's go to combat and swing and make a treasure. Treasure's probably not going to matter, but it's fun to have the treasure. Something's okay. I see. We're getting blundered. Opponent gets a map token. That's okay. Opponent gets a map, I get a treasure. It's fair-ish. Sacrifice the courtyard and see what we've got. We got a Tinker's Tote. We can't activate this ability on the gym guard. We can sack the Tote if we want, but probably not yet. Ooh, and we get to scry. Would we like to draw another Tinker's Tote? Sure, why not? You know, the Tinker's Tote by itself is medium, but Tinker's Tote, when I have the Ingenuity on the board, is 3 mana for the 2/1/1s and a 3/1. That's a great deal. I'm excited for that deal. So opponent's doing their crafting. There's the 6/6. My turn. We are going to... I think I want to just needle this right now. And I want to do that. Oh man, why did we tap it like that? That's not how I wanted to tap. Can we use the craft ability? So we can go 1, 2, 3, and then pay 1 to sack the Tote. So we have that, and then play this to explore. So we can do that, or we can just sack this cave. Yeah, it's probably more efficient to do it the other way. Alright, so sack the Tote. Activate the needle, exiling the thing in the graveyard. I also could have exiled the gym guard, but we may be able to like bounce the gym guard back to my hand. And then Siren Explorers, yeah, I'm okay with that guy. Everybody attack, we make another treasure. Opponent can trade. Yep. Oh, everything that just happened is okay with me. Oops, I get to scry again and I want this. Yep, I like where this is going. Opponent is down board, so they need to interact somehow. I guess we don't. We're kind of out of removal though, so if they have interaction, this game is probably going to continue for a while. Dusk Rose Reliquary. Let's see what they target here. They target the 2/2 flyer. Interesting. Oh man, this compass is going to do a lot of work here. Just pumping up all these 1/1 tokens. So it's probably more important to get this Explorer, because I'm exploring onto the flyer, than to get this Explorer. So we're going to play this guy first, or I meant this counter, then this counter. There's a lot of exploring going on here. There's a lot of exploring. Okay, so the opponent's got their compass. Compass versus compass. 3 mana left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Opponent is very close to being dead. They drew a land, but the land they drew is a tap land. Right, so this is 6 on the board. So if we get to explore here and then 2 counters from the cave, that is lethal. So I'm going to activate this here and see if they have anything. Nah, they've got something. They've got priority here. And I also just played this in the opposite order as I said, but that was because I'm fishing for lethal. Should I just do it anyways? Yeah, honestly, I am going to do it anyways. I am going to do it anyways. I'm just going to go for it. They seem to have something, but what are they going to have that's good here? The most they can have is a removal spell, right? It's not going to be that good. It's going to be, I'm going to bounce your 3/3, take 6, go to 3, and then they're still dead on board. Yeah, no, that stays there. Now we got so many scries that we're not getting value out of them because we've also got so many good cards that I don't want to scry away my cards. Ooh, they're playing Malamet Warscribe as a blocker. That is a great sign. This triggers on the opponent's turn too, right? Because I'm thinking about just casting the Soblights here. Target the Titan for no value. Well, the value is that I get a 3/1. That's the play, right? Because they might have a removal spell, but this... Yep, we're doing this. Also curious they didn't sack the map, so that indicates they probably have a removal spell. So they can use removal on this, block the other one, and they're going to take 3. So this is going to be exactly lethal. Should I activate this compass first? It's probably a good answer to what card I'm supposed to play around. I can't actually think of anything, so I'm just going to combat. Oh, Acrobatic Leap. They're still dead? Oh, okay. Well, I didn't expect them to have 2 tricks. The good thing about this happening is that now they're out of cards. They got to kill my flyer, which definitely sucks. Don't get me wrong, that definitely sucks. But they're 2 and they're out of cards. So I think I get to play 2 of these cards. I'm just gonna play this Tote, I guess, and the Cloud Guard to get the maximum number of creatures. Look at all these creatures. Opponent's got like 4 blockers over there, 3 blockers, 3 blockers because they can animate this Anchorage, but they would need to block this, and then I've got 4 creatures left. They might have them, but they can still draw like, I don't know, another one of those 1/2 gnomes. Ooh, they milled a mythic. Wow. Okay, I think that's game. Opponent hasn't conceded yet, which is a little strange, but let's just go to combat and see what they got. Which is nothing. Yep. Alright, that was another fun game. 2-0. Match 3. What are we going to do with this hand? This hand is interesting. Probably should go turn 1. Probably should keep this. Because we're not really going to get flooded too easily in this deck. We've got enough courtyards, and like this is a 6-drop. You can go turn 1 Bat, turn 2 Siren, Explore onto the Lifelinker. It's hard to turn that down. Opponent's passing here, so let's remember they've got the 1/2. 1/2 flash for 1 mana. Let's not walk into that if we don't need to. Or maybe they're buffing. But I think it's early enough in the format. Early enough that would be a pretty brazen, useless buff against most opponents. Opponent's got a decent 2-drop. We also seem to be playing the blue-white mirror. Hoping for a counter. We got a counter. Do I want to draw another Tinker's Tote? Yeah, kind of, yeah. It's kind of hard to complain about that card in this deck. Scries to the top. We're going to take 2. And you know what? Like, this is a lot of power in the air. They're honestly going to have to remove this. They can't just have me get a 5-point life swing every turn. Or maybe they can. Who knows? Having this attack in the air. Oh, here comes the Wrestler. That's not, they're not using it to get a 2-for-1, so I feel like I'm getting ahead there. It's the most, like, it plays the board really well to play Untap Land Tinker's Tote, but I think I would rather play the Iceberg here because I really want to cast this card next turn. This card can actually do stuff on the board, whereas the Tote, like, attempts to trade for their 2-drop, and that's just way too much work for very little benefit. I don't actually want a 5th land, even though it would be nice to flip the Iceberg, but like once we get to 4 mana, what are we doing when we draw the 5th? We're casting like Tote and Blunder. Yeah, maybe I should have thought about that more. Maybe I do want a Tote and Blunder. Scrying to the top again. Uh-oh. Get another land, except it's tapped. That's probably worse, to be honest. We already had 1 tap land in this game. We don't really need more. So this is going to tap my guys, and given how proactively they play this Wrestler, I'm guessing they're going to proactively tap the Lifelinker here too. They seem to think they're the aggro deck, and that makes me expect some like Pirates coming up to try to get the game to a conclusion quickly, but they're going to find that doesn't work very well versus my life gain and 1/1s to block. It's going to work rather poorly, I would say. Ah, okay, they got an answer. That's annoying. We will probably just bounce this Cloud Guard to my hand. Probably didn't keep what they saw. I don't hate Glorifier or Suffering, so we're gonna do the Tote first. Just go to combat. I think they're gonna tap the Lifelinker. We're gonna hit for 2, play the Tote, and then next turn probably Glorifier. Play Glorifier, sack the Tote, buff like 2 flyers, or maybe even buff one of these 1/1s on the ground. They've got these 2 toughness ground blockers or ground attackers. Oh, they have another Wrestler. Oops, I've lost my 1/1. Okay, move into combat on the opponent's turn, and again they're attacking with everything. So I have to think about what kind of pump spell could they possibly have. Because the kind of tempting obvious block is to double block this Wrestler. If they have another Wrestler, then it's only killing 1 creature, which is fine by me. Much better outcome than trying to double block this, and then they can just have a removal spell that kills both of my 1/1s. Here they only get 1 of them. And if they don't have a trick, then they also only get 1 of them. Yep, I'm happy with that. I am happy. Opponent's got a 1/1 over here. Vigilance, when it dies, they explore. They get an Iceberg, that's probably the wrong order to do that. Milling, Shipwreck, Sentry. My go, we are going to do exactly the play that we talked about. Glorifier, sack the Tote. Could consider sacking the Cloud Guard, but really I would rather just blunder the Cloud Guard back to my hand and then do it again. So we're going to put counter on this siren, and do I want to put a counter here? Maybe here. Like, is it better to attack right away? Yeah, I think I want to attack right away. So let's just review this rare, because it's still possible, easily possible not know what all the rares do. It's a tumble magnet, moves counter, tap something, it's going to run out of counters, and then you can also craft, and when it craft, it puts it back into your library and draws your cards. Do they have trick? No, that's not a trick. They can explore, I guess. Revealing Cosmium Blast. Okay, that's annoying that we have to play around that. I've also got this Sunscribe in my hand. It doesn't really attack into their 2/3, but I think I'm going to play it anyways. And we also get to scry. Wouldn't be terrible to draw a land. I actually don't want to draw a red card. No, we have not hit our splash sources. Okay, that's a 6th land. So the ground is kind of clogged up by this 1, 2, 3 wrestler. I think we're gonna go for we're gonna go attacking in the air. Tap my thing. I get to attack with this. So like if I attack with this 3/2, this is just not good because they block with like the 2/1. I'd rather keep this back to block like that thing. We're gonna go Siren, get in, see if they use the Cosmium Blast. If they do, I think we do the blunder play. If they don't, then we're gonna say a surprise. Actually, we're just flipping this iceberg. And this guy should definitely open up the go. And they conceded because they actually can't beat a 6/6. Sweet. 3-0, and this is the first actually awkward hand. We're on the draw, so I kind of want to keep it because we have lands, but it doesn't actually cast a spell on turn 2, which given this low curve is actually pretty rare. But yeah, we'll keep it. We can go play these 2 lands. We can play these 2 lands on turn 2, sack this for an island, and then we can play this crewmate. We can also play the Saw Blades if the opponent's like beating us down. Oh, we drew a 2-drop anyways. So yeah, it would have been silly to mulligan this, obviously. Opponent's got 1 mana 2/2, revealing Pathfinding Axejaw. I was going to say it might be better to save the Saw Blades for the Axejaw, but now that we got a second Saw Blades, that's not necessarily true, but I would like to cast the Sunscribe. The main reason to not cast Sunscribe, I think, is that they might braid it, and then we're actually quite far behind. But they didn't do that. Do I want to block? No, actually, I want to attack with my Sunscribe. No, they're chomping it. Okay. So that indicates to me they probably had a trick. Or I guess they could have like a descend payoff. We're just going to get this Tote out here. The island was actually a really good draw. I hope to draw another land. Next turn we'll go like either crewmate plus Saw Blades or just pirates. Probably crewmate. I don't want to double block because they've indicated they have a trick. Axejaw reveals Appraiser. Appraiser, that's a good card. I'm not happy to see that one. Well, let's just be boring and play our cards. Maybe I should be blocking. Maybe I should be trying to block the scout. I guess here if they attack with everything, we can just double block the scout and then... Uh-oh, never mind. What does this do? Creatures... No, other dinosaurs you can 12 haste. There's the battlefield, make 2 0/1s. Begin to come on your turn. Turn your eggs into 3/3s. I have not seen this card. Okay, that looks strong. I'm definitely disappointed that it's coming to this. So now do I want to trade all 3 of these things for like a 3/3? Or... we're not going to be able to remove this Hatcher. We just don't have any removal. Best case scenario is we draw the bounce spell and bounce the L1. Yeah, I think we actually do trade for this 3/3. And then Saw Blades. Trade for the Axejaw. Moving on, we have to make a choice here. Choose between 2+2 or 4 or 4 or 2+2. So what's going to happen? If we play the pirates, we're going to tap down the Hatcher and then trade the pirates for this and hold back the Choo-Choo for a turn. If we play this Gem Guard, we get to put a counter on it immediately. It's a 4/4. We get to hold back these 2, but we take 5. And if we go play both of these, and the crewmate trades for the scout, we take 3 and we Saw Blades the Hatcher. Which of those is the best? I actually kind of like the crewmate option. Because this, assuming we hit something here, which we did, gives us potentially more options in the future. We're not attacking this treasure, or map rather, which is a real giveaway as to what's to come, but I don't think that really can be helped. That's really obnoxious that they get to give first strike if they're smart to the 2/2. Yep, that's actually really obnoxious. Now I can't block that. Now they've got 3 different creatures I can't block profitably. I knew this was going to happen. I think I would have done something else, although I'd have to think more about which option that would be. Gotta play the Saw Blades again, because I just don't want to die now. I'm just afraid of dying. So the Saw Blades, going to kill that. I'm going to take 7. I guess if this doesn't work somehow, that's not good. Now we're going to 1. We're pretty screwed. I knew they had a trick, but I didn't know it was the trample trick. Oh, no, I miscounted. We're actually dead. Okay, yeah, no, I thought they had a trick, but I didn't think it was, or I didn't need to predict it was that particular trick. Yeah, good beats. This here is potentially the worst hand yet, because it doesn't do anything. We've got this reliquary, but it doesn't. I think sacrifice. Got 2 4-drops and 3 lands. I'm still gonna keep it, I think, just because this deck has shown that it's actually just super competent at drawing cheap spells, because there's nothing but cheap spells in the deck. And if we draw lands, well, we're happy at least with the first one. So because we have just so few actual bad draws, I think I have to keep it. Guess I'm taking 1. Okay, we've drawn multiple lands, but I'm not going to complain about multiple lands when one of them is Hidden Courtyard. Plundering Pirate. Not excellent for me. Not excellent. There's another tap land. Get to play Cloud Guard here. Probably want to do some trading. I guess I don't want to trade away this 1/1, because I want the 1/1 on the board to trigger the pirates and maybe to sack to the reliquary. Flyer gets chopped. Don't touch my 1/1, please. Not blocking. Alright, gonna play my pirates. My pirate taps your pirate, and we'll poke you for damage. Next turn, probably start sacking lands. Opponent's got an additional Plundering Pirate. I'd rather save this reliquary for something that's like actually bigger than a 3/2. You know, they could potentially cast, say, a 6-drop next turn. You know, there are those 6-drop like cyclers common. So it seems like a thing that could reasonably likely happen. Hidden Courtyard hits Cogwork Wrestler. You know, I'm actually not impressed by that. Yeah, I don't. I mean, this can attack cleanly, but I'm losing the race by a lot, and they're almost certainly the aggressive deck in this matchup. Don't really want to trade damage with them. I don't want to try to double block like 1/1, 1/2 on a Plundering Pirate, because even if they got Quintorius. I've seen too much of this card already, and this format's not been live very long. It's like they play it and they get to make a 3/2, and I don't have any evasion, so I can't kill it. So then they get to do it again. Let's play the game, see what happens. But I bet I know what's in the future. Well, it's been a few turns. I don't think anything I've done has mattered, but it's time to pack it in. The opponent's got a strong deck, and they also just have this card that just completely ended the game because I can't interact with it. Couldn't kill it. Maybe in a start where I had the flyers on the board could have been different, but not here. Let's try another game. This seems like a reasonable hand. We got our cheap cards ish. Guess we don't have a 2-drop again. We could have played more 2-drops to be perfectly fair. We could have played more 2-drops. Even here, we could just cast this Iceberg instead of the Siren, but I'd rather just get the power on the board, especially if this hits. Tinker's Tote. How much do I care about that? I don't really want that. It's not very efficient. We got so many cards. We already got 2 craft things in hand, but it is really good with the gem guard. So actually, never mind. I am just going to keep it. So anyways, I want to have like another 2-power flyer here, because it'll just force the opponent to do things. This plus the water wind scout. That thing can gain lifelink relatively quickly if they're a good green-black deck. But if it gets out of control, we'll just Saw Blades it. I'm not blocking it, that's for sure. I think my attackers are much more valuable. I could explore first. I suspect they have a removal spell, because otherwise why would you leave all this mana open? So I don't want to lose my explore. So I'll just play the Tote. We can play it slowly. I feel secure with my 2 Saw Blades that I can actually play a long game, even versus green deck. They did nothing. They also they have to act first. You know, I guess I said this already, but it's not an exaggeration. They are just gonna lose. Play the Spider, which is pretty good blocker, but also if they attack here, I am snapping off that trade. Okay, this is fun. How do I want to do this? So I could needle that right now. I think what I want to do is I want to play this Iceberg. I want to do this to try to hit a land here. So do a milled land. So we can needle right now, or we can wait and do it on the opponent's turn. No, I think I want to needle right now. Opponent can maybe attack me with their lifelinker. You know, attack me back with their lifelinker, but if they do that, then then they have to presumably spend some of their mana and mill themselves. The Saw Blades, by the way, will be able to target that Spider while it is tapped. And so I'd like to do this not my next turn, but the turn after. I'll still be able to do that as long as it's before the opponent's untap step. Opponent spending 5 mana, killing my 2/2 flyer, killing my Wooden Drake, which I'm quite pleased with that one. So we can go Saw Blades. We could also just go Gem Guard, go counter. Yeah, actually, I kind of want a Gem Guard. How can you not be tempted by this? Look at that. We got a 6/6. Where's your hard removal spell now, opponent? Do you have more of those? I hope I'm feeling smug right now because my opponent hasn't played any bombs yet. Feeling smug that they used their 5 mana removal spell on my 2/2, and then I untap and play a 6/6 that's just gonna get bigger. This card's a crazy common. It's not broken or anything, but it's like they really didn't used to make commons like this. Colosdactyl is definitely a fun card. How do I want to do this? So it's going to block the Siren. I need to play the Saw Blades right now. So let's just play it right now. I think the opponent likely has a trick. So the question is how much risk am I willing to put up with? I can kind of just start building up more counters on this Gem Guard. So for example, they could have a +3/+3 trick. And so I want to definitely have enough to kill the Colosdactyl if it gets +3/+3. But that's only 8 power. Preferably would have even more. If I have 2 more than that, then I can kill both of them if they have the +3/+3 trick. I think we're gonna get that far. It is unfortunate with this land here that what I really want is what I wanted to be using this card for was to get the mountain. But here I really have to get a white source because I got 3 white cards in my hand. Opponent has to block, which is nice, and unless there's some trick I'm not thinking of, it's going to be a chump block. I remember taking this Gem Guard over an ostensibly better card in the draft. I've now forgotten what that was, but super happy with my decision there because this deck definitely needs more of, whatever you call this. I wouldn't want to have too many Gem Guards. You can definitely get too many of this kind of card very easily because, it only works one at a time. But it's definitely good in many spots, including right here. Now we got rid of the opponent's reach creature, which means that my 1-drop 2/2 flyer is unopposed. The lifelinker is turned on. That is a noteworthy element of this board state, but they're only down to 3 cards in hand. And we've got so much power on the board with this Gem Guard that they really need to interact with it or they're going to just die now. Let's see what they got. That's a lot of power. This is not a bad card. I'm not going to insult that one. They're just playing 7 drops on turn 7. So we're going to get this Plains. Got a Sunscribe. So we could go... So this Needle costs 3 to craft. Saw Blades cost 4 to craft. We don't have any artifacts in the graveyard. So then I think the play is, we also can't put we don't need the Tote to be in the graveyard. I think I want to try exploring here. So I'm going to tap this, explore onto the flyer, because if I hit a land, it's kind of nice. Do I want to draw another Tinker's Tote? I want to say no, actually. I really want something in the graveyard. Just having a free thing in the graveyard is just all upside for me. So we get to swing here. They're forced to chump. Sawblades comes around, gets to kill the 3/3, and we get the bat as well. The opponent is well on the way to being dead. Also, let's just rack up counters on this gem guard, because why not? Oh, right, we scribed the Tinker's Tote into the graveyard. Duskroar's Reliquary is actually a great card here, because we don't have any removal, and we do have lots of random artifacts we can sacrifice. So that would be great if they have, like, exactly the... I'm not sure how they would die to it, but, you know, if they just barely get enough power on the board to trade for the gem guard, maybe they play a Death Toucher or something. That would seem kind of underwhelming, but you get the point. They could play one very strong creature and we can actually answer it. But that's the point of removal. I guess I'm talking too much. Ooh, opponent played Jade's Seedstone. So they're going to get some counters. They got up to 11 here. This 8/8 is, yeah, it's attacking me. But now that they, yeah, never mind. So now they attacked. And then, of course, they're trying to race, right? It makes me a little bit scared, at least. They've got an 8/8 and I'm at 15. But they don't know that I'm about to draw this removal spell, and now they're actually just dead. Like, the game is over. You were taking 13. Nice. 4-2. Next game, we're going to keep this hand, once again, fairly medium, hoping to draw a 2-drop. But, you know, we got the combo of Tinker's Tote, Adaptive Gem Guard, and the lands to cast them. Well, that's a sweet swamp art. I love that. We don't need to cast Lodestone Needle 1, 2, and 3. Okay, here comes Tinker's Tote. Get him down on the board, and now I guess the way forward depends on how much removal the opponent has. Probably gonna play the Pirates first, because I bet the opponent has like the Murder, you know, the 1 black, -5/-5. I bet they have that, and they're holding up that, and then I come and play these 1/1s. So that makes me not want to play the Gem Guard, because I really, you know, I want this to go a long way, and I would rather try to bait them into using the Murder, say on my 3/3. Or is this another Tinker's Tote? No, let's play the Pirates here. This is funnier. This is definitely funnier. Because I don't care if they murder my 3/3, right? I do care if they murder the Gem Guard. This isn't the best use of that tap, but, you know, this tap is mainly a tempo ability, and not using it, not playing your 3/3 on turn 4, well, it's just going to get worse. I definitely don't want them trading their Guidewing for... Well, no, that's not true. They only get to explore if they have another creature. I take it back. That wouldn't have been a bad trade. But at least they're not going to get to trade next turn. Maybe they weren't going to trade after all. They got Tithing Blade. Well, that makes me feel nice and fuzzy, because I do not care remotely about that. Ingenuity is annoying. Opponent has tapped out of the Murder, but I think they might have it. And just, you know, sometimes the enemy tapper is just out to get you. Or they got something different. Oh, they got Cosmium Blast. I'm going to make some more 1/1s. Opponent can Tithing Blade me all they want. Guess this guy has Vigilance and they can attack me with it, but no, I just don't care about anything. Got so many 1/1s. Why not take the damage? Doesn't matter to me. Soaring Sandwing. That's going to be an annoying one. That one I think I will just sneak in Needle this second. So I'm going to draw here, and I'm going to use one of these Cataracts. You can flip the Needle and start exploring, but I'd rather try to double spell. Ooh, got the Sawblades. I probably should have thought about Sawblades. I probably, like, when you have like 2 of a card, I should be thinking about it every time I discover. Like, I should actively maybe not be discovering when my opponent doesn't have a good Sawblades target. Though, on the other hand, that could just be not true. Like, I'm just drawing the Sawblades if I miss. It's only 2 mana. I love just how poorly all my opponent's cards line up versus mine. At some point, they're probably going to sacrifice this cave and put counters on the Guidewing. And then I'll have to... That will require an answer. At some point, they're also probably going to flip this Tithing Blade, which is medium, but it's, I guess, something you can do. Okay, so we can flip the Chariot, use the Reliquary on their 3/3. How much do I care about this 3/3? Could also play the Gem Guard. Gem Guard might be better than this. No, it's probably worse actually. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. So Reliquary, sack the Tote. So it's basically just paying 3 life. I'm gonna remove your 3/3. We're gonna go to combat. Poke. Would you like to block? I bet you don't. I bet you wouldn't. I'm also gonna have to decide if I want to play this land or not, because there is a Ravenous Rats in this format. But I guess it's really not the end of the world if I discard this Poetic Ingenuity. It's probably not doing much. And I might draw an untapped land and want to go Gem Guard plus flip the Needle next turn. So let's do that. Here comes the Saw Blades. Can attack with this as a 5/5 next turn. Here you go. It's very possible this play, this killing a 3-drop was overly aggressive, especially considering they've got this cave and they've basically got a 3/3 vigilance on the board and their ill-gotten gains. The issue is that like I don't have a lot of removal, but I guess I'm just not feeling very afraid. I'm having trouble justifying that play, at least. It's definitely plausible, but there's easy ways for it to go wrong. I just play a 6-drop here and now I can't do anything, or like a 6-drop plus a murder for the Gem Guard, I suppose. But on the other hand, it is possible that I don't really have a lot going on and they could have just activated this thing every turn, and they clearly didn't have a lot of proactive threats because they haven't been playing them. It is possible they have like something really expensive, and of course it's also possible they top deck something, but they certainly haven't been playing like they have access to something that's really powerful. Also, our life total is pretty high, so even if they like make a 3/3 and drain me from 1 every turn in addition, it just doesn't matter all that much. I don't think I need to sack this Tote yet. That's not a bad draw. So I can play this Ingenuity and flip the Needle. Okay, so let's try crewing this. Go to combat. Let's see if the opponent wants to block. Would you like to block? I'm surprised they didn't use the cave here. That must mean they have a trick. Or maybe they have the murder. Alright, what is this? Cosmium Blast. I'm okay with that. We got a 2-for-1. Like, I know 1/1's not a real card, but they could have made it into a real card, and they also could have gotten an Explore and just draw a card. Yeah, so I'm going to play the Ingenuity. I'm going to craft this Needle thingy, exiling the Saw Blades that's now in the graveyard. And I think we're looking pretty good. Don't make me discard this Gem Guard, though, opponent. That would be bad. Also, they don't have the murder that I've been playing around every turn. Oh, they do have a bomb. That is not a card I want to play against. So let me just read this real quick. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, they make a bunch of 1/1s equal to its power, and then they can sacrifice another artifact to put a counter on this thing. So, yeah, obviously that's really powerful. I wish I had a removal spell to kill that with. But, if I can make a very large creature, they probably can't attack. So, I guess I focus on making a large creature. Here's the Gem Guard. Trigger the Gem Guard, make a 3/1. We are going to activate this Compass. We got to draw a card, sure. Play land. Then we activate this Gem Guard. And I think I have to stop here. Yeah, we can still lose this game. We can still lose this game. I don't really understand the player patterns with this card. But they can activate that ability at instant speed, so they could like sacrifice the 3 things and make it into a 6/6 and then trade for both my guys. I guess I should have thought about that and left the 1/1 untapped and the 3/1 tapped. But basically I just want this to attack as few times as possible. And yeah, obviously that means if they have a trick the first time it attacks, they'll probably lose the game. But they had no cards in their hand. So if they do have a trick, it has to be top decked. They could also activate the cave now, put the cave on the Thunderhawk. That would also be pretty terrible. But I just don't have a good way of dealing with that. Maybe it's not that it's not that different. So they're just activating the cave. It's like they sacrificed 2 1/1s. They just get to keep the 1/1s. If this attacks, it's attacking as a 6/6 maximum. Which, yeah, they're making a ton of 1/1s. They're making a ton of 1/1s if this attacks. At least I'm not dying. Yet. Phew, rare down. Are we going to win this game? Probably not, but let's keep trying. Iceberg is a great draw. To trigger that... Ooh, Cloud Guard 2? I love Cloud Guard. So we get to activate this iceberg. Exile what? Oh, there's a gem guard in the graveyard, right? Exile that. And play this land. And we get to explore. I will keep Glorify or Suffering around. So what I can do with this is I can use this to sacrifice like Tinker's Tote or even a treasure token, and then buff 2 of these things so that they can block these 1/1s. So I have to balance here getting good trades versus not trying to get to a low life total versus this artifact that's gonna drain me. We get to make 2 free blocks, but then do I want to make more? I'm not sure. I think I want to keep. Maybe this is just arbitrary, but I feel like I want to at least make 1 trade. Get that number down. Iceberg Titan also has Divisible, by the way, in case you didn't know that. Just untap itself. They're probably gonna do this Tithing Blade thing right now. I'm afraid to mouse over it because I don't want to remind them that they have it. Maybe they'll forget. Nope, they didn't forget. Okay, I can mouse over it now. Just an artifact. Beginning of their upkeep. They drain me for 1. So we're going to go to combat. We're going to attack with these 2 guys. Oh, wait. I could have gone for lethal. What am I doing? I had lethal damage on the board. I could use this to tap and then this for counters. It's okay. We're doing fine here. So we're gonna untap the Titan. Make a treasure. I would like to untap this. Opponent's basically gonna have to have a a sweeper if they want to win the game, so I'm not too afraid. I can, I think, sacrifice this treasure. I'm gonna get counter here, counter over here, and then I just pass. Yeah, it's really dumb that I did that. That I just didn't see the lethal. I saw it as soon as I made the attack, though. At least I noticed, but not happy with myself there. It's got another Tithing Blade. Sure. So I killed them 2/2. They can, if they attack with everything, deal 2 to me, but I would not recommend that course of action to my opponent. They can flip this, drain me for 2 every turn, but they're just so slow, and they're gonna have to start blocking. They can't start jump attacking unless they have like something good in their hand. Yeah, I want to keep a land in my hand to play around the Ravenous Rats, and I don't really want to sack this Tote unless I need to, but I also want to keep it around. Cogwork Wrestler. Is that good? It's pretty small. I don't really want that, no. Do I want to use the Courtyard? So if I attack, they have to block multiple things. Yeah, okay. I think this is fine. I'm afraid of being greedy when we're already like very far ahead and they could potentially have a sweeper. They have to do multiple blocks because they're at 9. And that makes it fairly easy for me to have lethal next turn. Hopefully I don't get like burned out by something stupid. But I'm picking what I'm going to play around. I'm playing around the sweeper. I want to make sure I have as much recovery versus the sweeper as possible. Flying lifelink, don't love that. I don't love that. Oh, it's my turn. I don't hate Tinker's Tote. I think I am going to use this. So they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could have my Titan tap their lifelinker. They have to, once again, block multiple things. I probably just play the Tinker's Tote and gain a bunch of life. They might try to trade. The problem is they only need 2 blockers, so I'm not actually threatening lethal. So, no, I'm actually changing my mind here. So I'm going to attack with these guys. I'm actually going to tap one of those 1/1s. Because if they just have to chump with multiple things, I want them to not chump with both of their dumb 1/1s. Then I'm going to play the Tote, trigger, make a dinosaur, and pass the turn. I'm basically most afraid of getting drained to death at this point. But I really don't want to play the Cloud Guard still. Interesting. So opponent's making a trade. They're down to 4, which is going to become 6. Here's dinosaur. And we got a concession. Okay, that game went on for a little too long. It was making me nervous, but we did get there in the end. Fortunately, they couldn't play their rare until it was a little bit too late. 5 and 2 going first. We do not have all the colors of mana, but this seems like a fine mix of lands and spells to me. Between the Tote and the Saw Blades, like we not only have a lot of things to do with our mana, but we have a lot of survivability and also like a 5/5. So I don't think I have to worry too much about taking many turns to find an island. Also, we just found the island. What can I say? Sometimes it's there for you. Opponent's got a compass gnome, which is going to get stuck behind my 1/1s. Oh, and interestingly, they didn't get a cave, they got a plains. So I wonder, are they like straight chess guy, or... Oh, we got minecart. It's a pretty good card. We'll play the pirates here, and my pirates just tap the cart and start bashing. I don't mind trading a little bit of damage. You can crew it if you want. That doesn't get you anywhere. I don't know why they were thinking. There's a thought to leave like one of these 1/1s back because they might remove the pirates and then they're attacking with the gnome, and then I'm trading for 2 for 2 when I could just trade 1 for 0 instead. Ooh, opponent did nothing. So the reason they got this land was because they just had nothing else to do. That's incredible. So that's just incredible for me. We are going to... Okay, I guess we're attacking with 2, maybe 3? No, wait. I should be playing around the gnome guy. The problem is that they have the gnome guy, then I'm basically trading the pirates for their... sorry, I should be more specific. There are too many gnomes. The wrestler, or the 1/2 flash that debuff something. Yeah, no, if they have the 1/2, then they're going to be trading for the 3/3. The reason to attack with both is because I'm going to say they're just going to waste their mana anyways. They're going to only attack with this minecart, and then it's going to get saw-bladed. But actually, if they have the gnome can crew the minecart by itself, and actually I don't like that outcome. So I'm going to be slightly cautious because of that. I'm honestly pretty surprised. Opponent clearly has some ability, although it may just be the minecart. But they didn't do it. Ooh, roaming throne. Does this have a creature type? I don't think this has a creature type. So this duplicates triggers abilities, and this one has a triggered ability that I bet they would like to do. But I don't think that actually works. The name Spirit. Okay. Alright. So in comes the minecart. I'm going to saw-blaze it. I could think about trying to like saw-blaze this guy, but between it having ward and it probably not attacking because I'm the aggressor, I think I really need to just get my saw-blades in where I can, which in this case is right here. Get that guy out of the way. I don't want to see it. Should I sack this Tinker's Tote? Because there's a decent chance I want to just use this craft ability, and might as well have an extra 3 life, right? I could draw something like Duskward's Reliquary. That would make me regret that choice. It's only 3 life though. We don't really need it. So I'm just going to untap. Ooh, Captivating Cave. So the nice thing about Captivating Cave is I can just put the counters in the pirates and say, okay, here's my 5/5, get in there. It gets really owned by the gnome. So maybe I don't do it. Maybe I don't do it for that specific reason. No, actually I want to try it. I'm going to put the counters on the pirates in. I don't think they have the gnome. I think they would have played it last turn. It would have been too weird for them to waste all that mana and not try to 2-for-1 me on that, or get a good trade rather. I guess it's not technically a 2-for-1. It just would have been weird. So draw a card off the Echo, draw an extra card off the Roaming Throne. What else are you gonna do? Nothing. You could do nothing. I'm gonna activate this Tote here. Oh, and I drew the Glorifier right after. What a pity. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap with these pirates and blunder and then flip the saw blades. And basically if they try to get a good trade with the throne plus the Echo, then, well, that's not going to happen. They're trying to get this good trade. How do I feel about this trade? I can just blunder the gnome, right? This seems like a good trade to me. Send that 2/1 back in your hand. They have to spend mana redeploying it. It doesn't do very much. Here's a second 5/5. They couldn't deal with the first 5/5 very well, so here's another one. Ooh, opponent got Master Guide Mirror. That is not good for me because it means I cast my blunder at the wrong time. I really would like to be able to blunder a 4/4 token. Also, they can just craft this really easily. They're mana short now, but they can do that. Lodestone Needle, excellent draw. So, so that changes things. Okay, so let's talk this through. I can go Needle, I can tap, say, one of the 4/4s. I can also tap the 2/1, because then I've got two 5/5s. They need to chump one of them. But maybe they don't need to chump both of them. I have to pick something here. So I think the Needle is going to come down. We're going to tap that thing, because I don't want to pay. No, I really should have tapped the Roaming Throne. But I guess they might have a Spirit trigger. And no, they have an artifact in the graveyard already. I can do this. Okay. No, I'm thinking. Gah. Alright, here comes the Glorifier. What do I want to be glorifying? I can make a 2/2, but really I'm attacking with two 5/5s. I don't want to do any of this. But yeah, I probably should do something. So it's target two things. Fine. We're going to crew this, go to combat. So if I attack with all three of these things, what they could do is they could say, put the throne on the 2/2, chump that, and go to 4. So I'm trading this 2/2 for their thing. If I don't attack with this, then what they're going to do is they're going to like double block the pirates and also go to 4. Which one's better? Which option is better for me? It's probably better for me to keep the creature around. I'm not sure I should have sacked the creature, but I felt like I was increasing the amount of power on my board, so it can't be that bad by sacking a 1/1 to get. I definitely didn't want to sack the Needle, because this is just going to be a value engine in case the opponent manages to make a bunch of 4/4s and stabilize. And I really want the throne off the battlefield. I'm going to play this in case I end up kind of crunched on mana, which might happen depending on what I draw, especially because of this Needle. Oh, Quintorius again. Oh my goodness. But they have to discover, because they know if they just +1, they're going to lose the game. That's a consolation, I guess, that they have to discover to make sure they get the trigger. I feel like we might be able to win this game. Can we beat Quintorius? Jeez. Okay, so what are our options here? Option 1 is, well, I guess they could have Cogwork Wrestler, but let's assume they don't have that. If they don't have that, then we just win the game without really expending any effort. So I'm going to assume that that's not the case, but I also don't want to die in case I like whiff off this courtyard. Like if I sack this courtyard here, yeah, no, actually I am going to die if I whiff off the courtyard. Never mind. So we're going to play the Dawn Runner. We hit Water Wind Scout. Actually having a flyer is extremely good. Use that to crew and lethal damage. Please don't have it. 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 Yes! Victory! Okay. That was exciting. Got my revenge on Quintorius. 6-2, final game. Let's take it home. This hand looks actually pretty good. We got multiple tap lands, which, as usual, is annoying. But we also don't, we don't have a... It's really interesting. It's really interesting because this isn't like a normal limited curve. We're not going to go 2, 3, 4. So it's never going to matter all that much. I was initially going to definitely play this Iceberg, but now that now that my opponent has played a 1/1, I'm actually just going to sneak this in and try to eat it, which worked really well. If we wanted to go 2, 3, 4 every game, it would be really annoying if we had hands with multiple tap lands, as is usual. And here it just didn't matter so much because we're not, we have a 2-drop, but this just doesn't need to be played on turn 2. It's okay if we wait until later. Opponent didn't have a 2-drop. The 3-drop is Soul Coil Vapor, so they're going to exchange that thing for something in the graveyard. Potentially that could be a huge amount of trouble for us, because if they have a Cycler, they do that. They cycle Soul Coil it back, and then they got their 7-drop dinosaur. So I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. I think we gotta go Iceberg and Explore, because there isn't really any other option unless we're trying to hold up the Saw Blades. I'm going to Explore first, or Iceberg first, because I don't want to scry and then mill the card that I just scryed to the top. We could hold up Saw Blades once again, but I think would just much rather Explore. Exploring's good, especially while the opponent's tapped out. Dawn Runner is such a good card, it would be just really weird to mill it, even though I don't actually want that card right now. Get to hit him, and next turn I'm going to be able to Pirates tap their, probably the Viper, because I'm afraid. I'm afraid that they'll top deck the Cycler. That is the reason they put Soulflower Viper in their deck. And then after that, I get to Sawblades it. Sawblades is pretty good with all these tapping effects, not gonna lie. I mean, Sawblades is good by itself, and the Pirates are good by themselves too, but Pirates just get quite a bit better when it's actually just now hard removal. And we have multiple Sawblades. I don't have to worry about using this too fast. I know they're a green deck. They might play like their 5/4. Nope, I've got at least one answer for our 5/4. But basically the Soulflower Viper, even if I just wait, like they could eventually just, I kill their 5/4 and then the Soulflower Viper becomes a 5/4. So basically whatever was good enough for me to kill that's what the Viper is. So let me just read this card because it's rare and I haven't read it. Choose 3. You can choose the same one more than once. You can search for a cave. You can put 3 counters on a cave. So they got 2 of these Hidden Necropolis and they got 3 counters. So I think what we're going to do here is we're just going to go Sawblades. Because this Hidden Necropolis is definitely a worse target than I was hoping for than a 3/3, but it's just, it's right there and I don't have to worry about getting the value off the Sawblades ever again. Very easy, and I don't have to worry about, well, they can discover something if they want. None of those things are options. They can't tap it for mana. Let's simplify this game state because I'm ahead. Opponent is going to sack an Necropolis here, and I'm hoping they just whiff, because that would be very convenient for me. I'm not hoping that because it's like, oh, there's a Defossilize. So they got to explore twice. Yeah, that's not great for me. It's not great. They still don't have any good targets in their graveyard, at the very least. Again, with the Pirates, would you like to trade for the Viper? They would. They would. Okay. Yeah, let's just do that. I could blunder, but that honestly doesn't seem very helpful at all. And then I could Sawblades. Sawblades is just going to get chumped. So maybe that's not good enough. I'm going to wait on the Sawblades. I'm going to do the Cloud Guard right here. Cloud Guard, basically I was thinking about holding up the Cloud Guard because it might honestly be my win condition. I don't want to play it too soon and get hit by a medium removal spell because this is how I'm just going to deal damage to my opponent. No, Poison Dart Frog, that trades for my Cloud Guard. Assuming they leave 2 mana. What does this card do? As long as there are 4 more cards in the graveyard, it gets +2/+2 trample. As long as there are 8 or more, it gets another +2/+2 and has anti-menace. Okay, and right now they have 3. So I don't want to attack because this is not a good trade for me. I can probably find something better than that if I wait. So I can go either Tote or Dawn Runner. One thing I would like to do is I'd like to craft this Iceberg soon. And that I can't really do unless I have a second blue. So this probably wants to hit the second blue. So I could do like either the Dawn Runner or the Tote. The Tote might be better because then I can do the Sawblades. I also don't want to actively trade too fast because that actually just turns on my opponent's things. That maybe that wasn't clear. So part of the reason to trade the 3/2 for their 1/1 is that, well, actually this 1/1 is actually holding back my 5/5, but really this Descend 4 card is at 3, and if I can make them expend resources to turn it on rather than turning it on for them for basically free, then that seems like all upside. And besides, if I wait long enough for the frog, I could potentially tap it with my Iceberg. All right, so they turned on their legend, but they had to put a lot of mana into it. They got a Brontodon. Oh no, I do not want to see Brontodon. That's really frustrating because they're going to make me put a lot of effort into the Sawblades and then just trade for it 1 for 1. Don't like that. I don't know if I can do much about that. I guess we're just going to have to walk into it. Maybe convince them to kill the Sawblades instead of like the Iceberg. Dream Mountain. Don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. I am going to... Yeah, I just don't care too much about my life total. I'm just going to do the Sawblades right now. Get rid of the Tote. I would much rather hold up the Blunder in case something funny happens. Maybe they have like a fight spell. I'd rather protect myself in the fight spell. So now do I want to make this trade? I'm going to go with no. I still don't want to make this trade. Another benefit for not making the trade is I can convince them to hold up mana for essentially no reason. Earthshaker Dreadmaw. Yikes. So they're going to draw a card off of this. This guy's really big, so it blocks my 5/5s. So now that means that Bronzodon wants to go from a 6/6. I could cast the Blunder right now on the Bronzodon to get the, prevent them from drawing a card. And then, then my plan ends there, because I can't actually attack into their 6/6 either. So, yep, they got that. Ooh, I drew Captivated Cave. So the tempting thing about this is I'm starting to picture a world where I put the cave on the Cloud Guard and sneak in for enough damage just in time. So I don't really want to spend my whole turn on this Iceberg when they got this Bronzodon. So that cuts off most of the possibilities I would likely want to do. So let's just activate the Courtyard. See if we hit anything interesting. We've hit Tinker's Tote. Clearly tapped wrong. We're doing a lot of tinkering. It's got another Descend payoff. That's fine. I am worried kind of about them attacking me, but hopefully I have enough power on the board that they'll think twice about an all-out attack. It would be not too difficult for them to die if they just attack me with everything. So, assume they have to be at least a little bit cautious. Well, that worked out okay, so I guess I'm just going to do it again. Sack another one of these hidden caves. See if we hit something better. Ooh, we hit the Pirates. That's a great draw. That's exactly the sort of thing I was hoping for. Hit the Pirates, tap the Reach guy. And that's why we didn't trade. Take some damage. None of these have Secret Reach, right? Oh, no. Ah, they had it. And if I had one more mana, I could blunder it back to my hand, too. That sucks. But just passing. We are definitely running out of stuff to do. I'm going to play the Dawn Runner. Let's see what we got. Sunscribe. No, that's not good enough. Doesn't do anything. We need evasion. Putting that in the graveyard now lets me craft the other Saw Blades. So they do have the ability to Bronzodon kill my guy, but they can't kill all my guys at once. And I've got 3 of these large artifacts. Funnily enough, I could potentially craft a board state where I have them sack the Bronzodon and then blunder my own artifact in response. That'd be pretty sweet. Maybe even can get a map if I can convince them to do it on the Chariot. The problem is that they have a 6/6. And for as long as they have a 6/6, these 5/5s are not going to be able to attack or do anything remotely resembling attacking. I've got another Join the Dead, which is fairly medium, I would say. I killed my 2/2. They're going to get a counter on the Skull Taker because they descended. A counter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, I finally... Oh, Auto Tapper. You failed me. Oh, wait, no, I can actually just undo that. I'm gonna sack the Tote. No, you know what? Let's just gain the life, actually. We're not gonna blunder. We're telegraphing it too much for it to be useful. I'm actually gonna invert this Iceberg right here. We haven't really found a way for it to be useful yet, but it might come up. Might come up relatively soon. Guess it's worth noting his library totals are not huge, and this game might, there might be some action forced. And opponent just attacking with anything would be very risky for them. So they're probably going to just wait and hope to, get to Descend 8. Okay, so we got them to use the Bronzodon. I'm okay with that. I'm just going to let that happen. Got Descend 6 out of 8. They're going to... It's okay that we didn't, blunder it. I know that card would have been a 2-for-1, but it's just fine. It's fine. They're not going to have 2 removal spells here, right? So surely, if I block... I guess they could have the Ambuscade. No, that's still not that good. Now that I've tapped my things, I realize this is actually really dumb. And if they have a trick, this is just asking to get blown out when we have the blunder, and we don't need to have that happen. So I'm actually just going to let them have it and hope they don't have a sorcery speed removal spell that they were waiting to use on this Chariot. Hopefully they don't have that. But given that we've got exactly one card, I think it would have been pretty dumb actually just make the block. And also just kind of hoping we'll draw action and get to, if the opponent has nothing, just punish them for making such a brazen attack. Opponent's got Jade Seed Stones. Okay. What are you going to do with that? Other than I think I would have put a counter on this 1/1 here, because then the opponent won't be able to block my 1/1s. I would not hate blundering onto their, like, blunder to bounce their 5/5. So, like, I could animate these chariots, bounce this thing. That thing's not that. This is frustrating. Okay, I guess I gotta use this cave. I guess I gotta use the cave. Maybe I don't need to use it yet. No, I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna pass. I want them to do something where we're gonna get some blocks in with this chariot. Let me read the other side of this card for a second. It's gonna be a 7/7 for 7. They gain some life. Okay, I'm gonna do exactly the same thing as I said I was gonna do last turn, except this time I have Practice Blunder up, and that should make me much more immune to any trickery. So if they have nothing, they're just trading their 6/6 for my 5/5. That's great for me. And if they have something, I can either blunder my thing or blunder their thing. Whatever's easier. And if they have a removal spell, it just doesn't help. Right? It's just like, I mean, we could also just blunder here, but what's the point of? I don't see the point. What's the point of blundering there when we can blunder here? Yeah, you're not doing that. We are not doing that one. That guy back to your hand. This doesn't resolve. I guess I take 7. That's not good. That much is not good. I get to play this guy again. This guy is enormous and has trample. Okay, I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared here, not gonna lie. We drew Spyglass Siren. Okay, and then we made a map. What do we want to do with these maps? So we could double chunk this Skull Taker, but we really need to do something about 14 power of trample. Basically, this Seething Tower has to hit me. I'm going to need to find out a removal spell, because we don't have anything with... I guess I could activate the Chariot and then Captivating Cave and then have that block, but that's... No, maybe I should just do that. Maybe I can't think of anything better. And then the other guy, we could just shove a bunch of stuff in front of that. Heck. Okay, now, wait a minute. You know what? I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to activate the Chariot. I can activate the Cave, explore. Because if we get big enough that they can't attack into it, then maybe they just can't attack, period. Do I want to draw Tinker's Tote? I'm going to say no. Probably not, because it's just not relevant on this board. Gaining 3 life doesn't help. Having 1/1s doesn't help versus enormous tramplers. Explore again. We drew a card. I like drawing cards. There's no attacks to be made here, and we're passing. Alright, don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Everybody's coming in. So we're going to crew the Chariot with the thing that I least want to block with. Please let me block. Please let me block. Please let me block. Okay, so that guy gets blocked 7/7. We're just assuming they don't have tricks, because, look, we can't beat a trick. Then the rest of the guys, we could either put them all on the Dreadmaw or we put them all on the Skull Taker. And both of these are going to be hugely problematic, but I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Putting 7 power on the Dreadmaw makes sense. We're not beating any tricks. We can't beat a removal spell because if they kill the pirates, then we're just screwed anyways. So I think we're going to block like this, take 6. Let's see if that works. No instants. Come on. Whatever you're doing, don't do it. Oh, they just have a hard removal spell. And then we are, I think, just dead on board. That's just lethal. Big sigh, but it's okay. So we finished up 6-3. Sad to lose the last game, always, of course. But, you know, you can't complain. There's never anything to complain about there. What have we learned? I've learned that, you know, artifacts are good, but I think they knew that already. Ingenuity has confirmed itself as a great build around. Tinker's Tote has confirmed itself as a card that is definitely very okay to play 4 of in your deck and just do everything with. You get the sacrifice synergies, you get the artifact synergies. Also, I love this card. Salve Blades is great. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. Hope you had a ton of fun watching, and I'll see you next time.